Okay, so so we were here. So we are talking about the
I think
CDC.
Bala is not in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one we're talking about, the CTC-AE. So we don't have this toxic grade, toxicity grade right now for in this particular project. But I'll explain you what is this CTC-AE. So usually this is also very important interview question. So what are the grades for AE? Okay, adverse event. So they will ask you. So as per the CTC-AE, which is common terminology, criteria for adverse event. Yeah, the common terminology, criteria for adverse event, version 3.0. Okay, the right now we have 10.01 something the version. Okay, they will ask you this question also. If you're keeping for Adam level experience, they will definitely. So the AE toxic that usually you can get in the Adam level when you're going to do some kind of analysis. The toxicity grading, you need to put some reports also. You need to submit some reports with the toxicity grading. So for that time, you should have to map this one, AE toxic curve. So basically giving the grading point, like grade 1, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, and grade 5. Okay, so total 5 levels. So the grade. One second, sorry.
So
Okay, sorry. Anyway, so the grade 1, which is a mild, I think it's a moderate. Grade 3 is severe. Grade 4 is life-threatening. This one is death. Okay, so based on these grades, we have to give, like, for example, if the patient developing nausea, and what level, either is moderate level or mild level. So they will give AE toxic are equal to grade 1. So for this variable, they give like that, the grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. So like this, they will classify for each particular event. And the same common terminology criteria for adverse event, it also is also applicable in laboratory level. Okay. Laboratory tests. Because there also you have grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. For example, for hemoglobin test, so you will have some limits, right? Upper limit and lower limit for specification. Usually, if someone goes to the blood test, they will have some specification, and you will get some result, right? So if it is upper level, it's more than upper level, which is not abnormal. If it is in the range, which is a normal. So the same CTC, they will also give some. This is one organization, so if when you Google it, you will know more about this information for this organization. Okay, so same like MedDra Dictionary, how the MedDra Dictionary works. The similar like CTCAE, there is a they have version numbers and everything. So for laboratory test, you will be have only 4 levels, and based on the upper and lower limits, okay, of your specification for particular test. So they also have grade 1, grade 4 only, not 5. There is no 5 is available. And here also they will classify if it is upper, if you have like, for example, if it is some, let's say any test uh, like ESR, simple hemoglobin. If you want to check the hemoglobin and what is the range, they may be like 10 to 14, which is the normal range, right? So if it is more than, if the patient is developing 14.5, so they will put as a grade 1. If it is more like 16, that considered as a grade 2, something like that. So like this, they will classify and they give the grading numbers. Okay, that's, I just want to explain that one. So we are in the AC, sorry, action other taken. So the other action taken, so we don't have any the control terminology. So we're gonna just directly map like as it is. Okay, so AE, ACN, and OTH, which is this one, and this is in character. So okay, so this one is done. So AE-rel, which is the casualty, okay, which is expected variable. So this is the one, CAU, which is the variable we have to map it. And is there any control terminology? No, we don't have any control terminology. In case if the sponsor or client, they will give some kind of terminology, you have to map with that one. Right now we don't have anything, so we just do as it is. Okay, just strip off. See, this is in character, so like that. The next one is, so these two AE are relationship non-study treatment pattern of adverse events. Okay, so we don't have these things. Okay, so we don't have this information. So these are permissible variables. Obviously, we don't need it. So, and there is an outcome of adverse event. So here, outcome. Yeah. So A out equal to yes, this is a control terminology. Let me check this. Okay, so the fatal, not record, unknown. So these are in uppercase format. Okay, so AE out is outcome variable. So this one. Okay, so so uppercase of strip of. So the next one is, so these are the cancer related variables. So when if you are doing like therapeutic oncology, they usually you get this variable should have to be there. So involves cancer, congenital anomaly, birth defects.
Yeah.
So is not only for the cancer, any other therapeutic areas that have any kind of, when you given some kind of drug and they kind of developing some kind of anomaly and birth defect. So those information will be pop up here. Right now we don't have this information for our study, so we don't need this one. Even this one also results in death, prolonged hospitalization, life threatening. So I think mostly these oncology related ones, because the survival rate is very less in oncology, because you are doing like patient with the advanced stage of cancers. Those patients, they usually when they're in treatment only, they will die, right? The survival rate. So on that time these variables will be pop up. So right now we don't have that information, so we just remove it, and these are permissible variables also. And the next one is overdose, the other medical serious important serious events. So I don't think so we have this information. So we don't have it. We have only these ones. This is only for adverse events, so we have only these variables, and even those are permissible variables. So, and the contract, let me check if we have this one. Contract. Concomitant medication. Concomitant or additional treatment given. Okay, this is a concomitant medication. If if the subject is developing an event, usually what happens, the physician will give something, right? Because they don't leave the patient, okay, you develop headache and you leave as it is. No, they will give something to relieve that headache. So those medication we call concomitant medication. Okay, so there's another important one, concomitant medication. Okay, other than study drug. Other than study drug given to patient. Okay, those drugs called concomitant medication. Okay, so as I mentioned, for example, if the patient is developing an event, if he has nausea or stomach ache, so the doctor, they prescribe something, either paracetamol or like aspirin, anything, the pain relief. So those medication also have to be recorded. Okay, so what medication and what dose will be given and how they given, and everything will be get in the concomitant medication data set. There is a data set for concomitant medication in the implementation guidelines. Those information will be there, but here we have only one variable that is asking if there is any concomitant medication given or not, yes or no. Okay, so in this case, so as per this concomitant medication given, they're putting like COCN, and which is also the other action taken. If there is any other action taken, they give the mapping with the same thing. So I'm gonna map the same thing, which is we already done here. Now wait. So there is a 742. So the C6742, which is you need to convert into the no, which is in NY format, because you see two characters. So this is
serious
NY.
event, Ali.
I'm sorry.
That is serious event, right? But here we are.
Yes, I'm just checking the control terminology, because here the 742, 74, why we have to do every time.
Okay.
I'm just checking because that is NY format. Actually, once because we check for the serious event, so these are the one. Yes or no? Okay. So ECNTRT, concomitant medication treatment. So this one. Okay. So let's tear off. So strip off. Okay. comma 1. Okay. Up to here, you understand, right?
Yeah.
All right. So this one is done, and the A toxic girl, we just spoke about it. Toxic grade. Okay. So the next one is this one. You remember the last time we did with, I mean, yesterday we did with expose the data set. So EXSTDTC, EXENDTC, EXSTDTY, EXENDY, EX duration, the same thing here also. Okay, so I put one up to here. Take this one. Okay, 7 observation, 51 variables. So we are okay. We don't have any errors. Okay, so we got all this one. Here, everything at the end. Okay. So we're gonna create one more data set name. Data AE2 set AE1. Okay, so I'm going to take a help of the DM dataset, how we did expose the dataset. No, I need to get the programming. Okay. Okay, so here, let me check stop time and end time. So this is start date of the event, and this is the end date of the event, stop DT. Okay, if you check here, so this is AE NDTC, and this is AE STDTC with the start date and time, stop date and stop.
Okay.
Okay. So this is already in the numeric format. So we don't need to change to the numeric as we did with exposure, right? Before we did change it to the in this here in the input format. So we don't need to do right now because it's already in the numeric format. And we'll take this part.
Ali?
Yeah.
So say if the date is, if it is in numeric format, we don't need to give format again, right?
This is in the numeric, so we don't need to change it, because if it is character, because you're going to do some calculations, right?
Yeah. So that's what my question is like. So if the data is in already numeric format, and when we are pulling, like now when we are creating a different data set, then we don't need to give the format, right? When we are pulling
Which one? The format date 9, those one, this one?
yeah, like here, MMDDYY, those formats.
Where is here on the top? This one.
Yeah, or the bottom, like the format, the format for the date, we don't need to give that one, right? If it is already numeric.
This one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to do it this format, because when you get in the number, so
Okay.
because you're going to do some mathematical calculations, I just kept it showing like, how we do.
Okay.
But if you don't do it, it's okay. It's not an issue. So time. So like that, and the same with ENDTC. Okay, so like that is okay. And now we need to convert into the numeric because we need to do some calculation, right? Mathematics. So, okay. So because we need only the dead part. So up to here is okay. So sorry. Okay, wait. So we're gonna bring the DM data set because we need the reference, right? If you need to calculate the study day calculations, as I mentioned yesterday, the same thing. When you start with the reference until the event is happen, when the event is happen. Okay. So I need this reference start date. SDTM. Okay, so I don't have this form. Okay, so we're gonna go with. So we need to merge these two. How do we merge? Merge DM1 and AE2. Okay. So, same thing yesterday, how we did it. So the similar thing. This okay, so up to here. Okay, so here is AE, AE2, AE1. Okay, maybe I can do it. Okay, now that is going to change everything. Okay, so do you have any errors here? No. Okay, so this is RFSTTC. So we got the duration here, 61, and this is in the format how we want it. And you can calculate like this also without applying any date 9 format. Okay. So after this one, so we have completed these three. So remember we have another one, which is sequence. Okay, so here you take what variables? Key variables. For AE. Okay, so we take these pi variables here. Okay, so we have done with the sequence variable. Okay, which is good. So the next one, the same thing, how we want to create the attributes. Okay, the attributes length, and you can make it like retaining if you want. So after that you create XPT files. It's gonna be the same thing. Okay. DME3 set DME2. We need only the required variables. Okay. So I'll keep only the required variables. Yeah, that's it. And these are the time point reference periods. So the time points. So obviously these are permissible variables. So the time points means when this particular event is happen, the start reference time point, like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. After 11 o'clock, if the 11 o'clock is happen something else, that event. So these information will be recorded here. End of the reference time point, the start of the reference time points. So they will ask you about the time reference points also, in case if it is more complex. This is a simple study. If it is more complex ones, they will, sometimes the patients are reporting like at 10 o'clock I got the headache. After at 11 o'clock I got something else. So on the time they will record this information there also. Okay. So up to here, so we took this information. Okay, so all these variables we have it. So whatever the required variables in our specification, all those ones are here. So except one subject has a 2 events. I don't know which subject is it. Number 4. So S23 subject has 2 events, nausea, but I don't know why they imported as 2 times. Okay. So any doubts for the adverse events?
Ali, can you, I mean, can you share those things so we can practice actually?
Yeah, I will share you everything, even the raw data sets and the programming part.
Yeah. I mean,
Control terminology.
yeah.
I think control terminology I have forwarded, right? The specification of
Yes.
control terminology.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will send this one so that, yeah, as a practice is good if you start practicing it. Then only you can know more about it, because I can tell you like this, and you just listening is not that much progress you make. So when you start doing the programming, then only you
Mhm.
make a progress, right?
Yeah.
Because your role as working as a programmer, so you have to program. That's your role.
Yeah.
So if you are working on, like, doing something like, if you develop one data set today and tomorrow on more data set, like that, you can progress more and understand this part, the implementation guidelines, understand and check how I'm doing, like mapping. Do go like that. The same thing is going to work in the real time also. So I
Yeah.
check the CRF, I check the implementation guideline, and check the control terminology, and also check the raw data sets.
Yeah.
So like that only you have to practice. Then only it's similar, like, in the real time
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
it's going to be
Yeah.
like that. So they don't go more than this one. So obviously
Okay.
these are standards. So they're following the same thing. So obviously SDTM is kind of simple,
Mm.
the starting one for the statistical programmer. So when you come to the Adam and the TLFs, those are the more the complex and tricky ones
Okay.
to do. So because initially, if you start practicing the SDTM,
Mm.
and then you move to the Adam, then you go to the TLF. That is the way you have to progress. Okay.
Yeah.
And what else in adverse event in the interview question they will ask. So when we're talking in ADAE, ADAE is Adam adverse event. On the time they will have treatment emergent flag. Okay, treatment emergent flag. So this is also very important question usually asked in interviews. So what is treatment emergent flags? So this is an Adam level. Okay, when we discuss an Adam level, I will explain you what is treatment emergent flag. So in SDTM level, these are the ones they will ask. What else they can ask? Because we still have 9 minutes, right?
Well,
Yeah, 9 minutes. In Adam level.
Ali, so I mean, you are telling like we'll go through SDTM, uh, Adam and NFT, right?
TLF.
Sorry, TLF. So
Yes.
these three should, I mean, these three should be enough for us.
Well, for clinical trials, yeah, these are the three ones you have to use it as a SAS programmer.
Okay.
In the CDM, they also use the SAS, but a statistical programming, the position, usually they will ask you these three, the group, like
Okay.
division, like Adams and TLF and SDTM, and you should have some knowledge on submission part also. So
Okay. Yeah, that's what like. So these three
even
should be enough
even
for us.
yeah, what happened sometimes, for one clinical project you won't get involved for all these three. Okay, either you're working for the last 2 3 years, you're working only in Adam level, Adam only.
Mm-hmm.
They won't give you TLF and they won't give you SGTM. They will put in only Adam.
Okay.
uh, or sometimes what happens, some clinical projects, they put you only the TLF, they don't put in Adam and SGTM.
Okay.
So sometimes in SGTM only you have to work on it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the main way you have to do it. In
Okay.
case if you have any kind of, you always check the raw data set. If you have any, like for example expected and there is a missing, and you map it right as it is, and if it is required variable and there is a missing, you have to communicate with the CDM people and why this particular value is missing here. And you have to write the documentation. There is a documentation how we have to do, like in the pharma also you do, like, right, some kind of, when
Mm,
you get some kind of deviation or auto specifications, you have to document somewhere as a quality management.
yeah.
So you have to sort that missing value like that. So net progress now 3 Okay, so the category variables, a cat, the category related records leading. So you read CDX notes also, you can better understanding. So there are total 56 domains in the implementation guideline. So if you are like, if you practice few like the main ones, and other one will be the easier ones. It's not that much complicated ones. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
In adverse event, what else? So that's it for adverse events. They won't go more than that one.
So, Ali, like when we normally go for an interview, like with 3 to 4 years of experience,
Yes.
so say suppose like how many, I mean, what percentage of questions we get from this C disk?
Um. So for the series, you mean only for the organization or for SDTM and Adam? Those ones.
No, normally like when we go for an interview,
Yeah.
like say suppose there are 10, the person is asking 10 questions in an interview. Out of
Mhm.
10, how many questions will be from this C disk? Like, I mean, um,
Because in the CDISC you will have SDTM and Adam, right? So
yeah,
obviously you are working in a CDISC implement given by the implementation guidelines.
yeah,
So you will be get more questions from these SDTM and Adam only, right? So even out of 10 they will ask maybe yeah, eight or seven questions, and remaining they will ask you for your clinical projects, the primary and secondary endpoints, and how many patients,
yeah.
and what are the treatments and visit, how many visits, and what is the screening, what is the inclusion exclusion criteria for your project.
Mm-hmm.
So all those questions will be asked. So you have to thoroughly understand the project. You have
Mm-hmm.
to thoroughly understand the SDTM, these domains, and Adam. If you're keeping Adam, I recommend. I personally feel like don't put the Adams if you are in like under 4 years, right? If you put 3 years, 3.5 years, don't put Adams. Just put SDTM, and just know that I have a knowledge in Adam,
Okay.
because Adam
So,
is kind of it's
so
have some.
basically, so basically, Ali, like in interviews, mostly it will be all about domains only. I mean, questions will be more about
No,
domains.
they will ask you if you are going to the SDTM programming level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they will ask you for the base SAS related some questions,
Okay.
maybe two or three, some advanced SAS
Mm-hmm.
regarding the functions and macros,
Yeah.
XQL and macros. They will ask 3 questions in it. And SDTM, obviously you don't have any information, like you don't have much information from the SDTM, right? So that's what they want to cover: base SAS, advanced SQL, and macros.
Okay.
So they in India they will give some coding. They give some code, and they will ask you to what is the output for this particular code.
Okay.
Or they give the output and ask you to write the coding.
Okay.
Okay, so in India is a different thing. Where
But in
here,
here they don't ask such things like write code
no, I
or
don't think so. They will ask, but unless until someone from India they are taking the interviews, they may be asked for the coding part also.
okay.
So the recent interview, I just got some question like, for example, as I mentioned, like if you have more than 200 characters, okay,
Mm-hmm.
200 characters, and how do you represent